quite different to people. First of all, we used to have a more transactional relationship with the government. They had a manifesto, they had pledges, we voted for them, they carried out those policies. Now it's a bit different. You vote a party in, they all seem to be identical, it's the uniparty these days, but what they do is they use nudging, which is a type of behavioural science, to get you to want the policy. Why do you think there's so much heatwave hysteria now? Why is it all through the news? Why is it emergency alerts on your GPS? Why is it all that politicians are talking about? Whatever you think of climate change and anthropogenic climate change and the solutions for it, the reason they're pushing this onto you now is because they want to soften you up for policies that involve donning a number of hair shirts. So this is the current example. How else are you to be persuaded that you shouldn't drive anymore? You have to pay so much to travel into London, or turn your heating down, or install an expensive heat pump? By scaring you. By telling you the world's going to end. So this is one example of how we see it play out right now. So that's something that's changed. In 2010, the British government launched a nudge unit, and that uses techniques which subliminally and covertly influence you without your knowledge. They're trying to change your mind and your behaviour without you knowing. So our relationship has changed with the government.
Back in 2010, I sort of became aware of it just 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But you're saying it's actually been there since 2010. That's just unbelievable.
I think the MO has changed a little bit. It was hard to argue with it when they're talking about reducing smoking or reducing obesity or knife crime. When it was about locking up the biscuit tins, that's one thing. When it became about locking us in our homes, that's another.
And I talked in my Sunday sermon about this, about what I think is, in some cases it might be a bit of incompetence, but in some cases there's been deliberate scaremongering in the last week with temperatures, and I just took a bunch of them and proved it with a different website called AccuWeather, which is a globally renowned website information source. And it's quite clear that they're terrifying people. And I talked about my concern about the next lockdown will be climate lockdowns.
Yes.
And that, in a sense, I said over our dead body, literally.
Well, I think that, this has been coming. It's something I warned about in A State of Fear. I spoke to social scientists who advised the government on SPI-B, the Scientific Pandemic Influence Group on Behaviour, but other people were talking about the same thing, about segueing from COVID to climate. They said that the British public had shown they were willing to change their habits. We were in a malleable window of changing behaviour, and they should use that to encourage behaviour change towards net zero goals. So that's absolutely a coordinated plan, and there are plenty of reports from the Behavioural Insights team, the nudge unit, that back that up. There are a couple